I'm going to verbally go through A and I'll look at B. And then at C, we're going to get stuck for a little bit. Because I would like to kind of make C a bit larger than it is. So let's start with question A. The length of AB. The monkey, AB's length. So I know my final answer has to be AB equals to so many units. The mountains. What is A and what is B? A and B are the x-intercepts. How do I determine x-intercepts of a graph? Make y equal to 0. If I make y 0, if I make f of x 0, I'm going to get two values. X equal to -1 or x equal to 3. Now, if you are unsure about how I got that, please come and see me. Okay? X is -1 or 3. Again, for the 80 and 90% here, guys, you've got to be able to solve it on all three different ways. Factorization, completing the square, as well as the formula. AP Maths, guys, your calculator. This FX991ZA is your best friend. Okay? Can solve the equation for you. Oh, I want that one. Okay, so AB is 4 units. Okay. Now, ladies and gents, here again, when we look at the B part of the question, all of you should be able to do it on at least 2 different ways. Because if I look at the coordinate of C, what makes C so special that I ask it of you? It is the turning point of the graph. How do I do the turning point of the graph? We did it earlier. X equal to -b over 2a. So I can either go x equal to -b over 2a, or first derivative equal to 0, or there's a fourth one. Guys, I already have the 2 x-intercepts. For a parabola, the turning point is slap dam in the middle of the 2 turning points. So I can just get, sir, can I just get the middle point, the midpoint between the 2 x values? Yes. Guys, listen to me carefully. If I was an examiner, which I am not, you guys can be grateful I'm not sometimes, I would give you a parabola with the 2 x-intercepts and ask you for the axis of symmetry without having an equation. Because it's just the midpoint between the 2 x-intercepts. So you've got to remember that method because it could be expected of you. So in any case, the midpoint between 3 and -1 is x equal to 1. Now again, have I answered the question? No, because I'm asking you for the coordinate. So I have to determine f of 1, which is -4. So therefore, C is 1, -4. Everyone's all right with that? Now again, for those guys that weren't here earlier, the first example that I did, I asked them for range. But to have range, I need max and minimum. In this case, my minimum value for y is -4. So the range of f, okay, it goes from -4, which is my lowest. My highest doesn't have. It touches -4. It never touches infinity. And there I've got my range. Oh, and I forgot y is an element of. That is if I asked you for the range. Learn to break these into smaller issues, smaller problems that you can solve. Now when we get to the C part, I'm just quickly going to redraw F. So there's -1, there's 3, there's 1 and -4. There is F. Okay? My question now, if I ask you, where is f of x greater than 0? Again, what does f of x represent? The y values. Okay, guys? What does f to the -1 of x represent? The x values. Have you guys thought about that? Because remember, f to the -1 means inverse. So x and y swapped around. So f to the -1 of x represents x values. Tomorrow we're going to work with f accent and f double accent. So derivatives. What does derivatives represent? We'll have a look at that tomorrow. Okay, don't stress. Don't get heart palpitations now, please. Okay. So where is the y values positive? So now I just go to my graph and I look. Here my y value is positive, 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 negative, 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 positive, 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 positive. So now the question is, where are the y values positive? On this side of -1 and on that side of 3. Well, that's my answer. Those are my two answers. So again, I love interval notation. That's just me. If you don't like it, there's forgiveness. So x for this little one, lowest value is -infinity. It never touches that. The highest part in here, it goes up to -1 and it's not included. Why is it not included? Because I don't say equal to 0. I just say greater than 0. Or, again, it starts now from 3 and it doesn't stop being positive. Okay, everyone's all right with that? Okay. Now I'm going to spice it up. I'm going to spice it up by asking you the following question. Where is f of x times by g of x greater or equal to 0? This is now, can I say, C2. And then I'm going to ask you guys C3, f of x divided by g of x greater or equal to 0. Now again, ladies and gents, all of you have seen these questions, and what have they now done this year? They've introduced gradients as well. Why? Because we can. Because we can. Because now I'm testing your understanding. And I know that you guys, some of you freak out. You have a mini meltdown session in the exam when this comes. Okay, I've seen it. Either that or you just go, oh no, sir, next question. I hear an affirmation here. Yes, sir. Okay, I've done that many a time. Okay, ladies and gents, after today, I hope it won't be necessary again. Because I would like to help you guys to analyze this. And I'm telling you, it is the easiest questions if you understand them. So what is your name? You just said yes. Say again? Bongani. Which means? But what does it mean? Thankful. I'm thankful that you're here. Okay. Ladies and gents, Now, Bongani, you just broke the ice. I'm just putting it out there. Everyone's awake now. I want to ask you a question. And please don't forget about the graph now. When is something times by something else positive? When is something times by something else going to give me a positive? When I have a positive times by a? Or a? Okay, a negative times by negative. So those are my two options, right? So in other words, I'm asking you, where is fx positive and yx is positive at the same time? Or g of x, I mean. And here comes the other thing, or where is fx negative and g of x is negative at the same time? Because that's my two options, right? So what am I going to do now is I'm going to draw g of x in, and I'm going to be nice. It's not in my nature to be nice, but I'll be nice and say that this part here cuts it at negative 1, 5. Okay, how did I get that? I just got the x-intercept for gx. So make y naught, solve for x. So I'm being a bit nice to you today. Okay, now let's analyze. I'm going to do the analysis of g of x in blue. Here, Bongani, are the y values positive or negative? It's positive, right? And positive. And here they are. And negative, 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 negative. Now all I'm going to do is I am basically going to go and say, let me break this thing up into the important sections. There, there, there. Okay? If I look at this section here, do I have a positive and a positive? A positive y and a positive y? Yes, so this section works for me. But now here I've got a positive and a, so does it work? No. But what about here? Now here I've got a negative and a negative. Does it work? And I've got a negative and a negative. Does it work? And a negative and a negative? A positive and a negative? So, Argent, there's my two answers. That interval there, as well as that interval there. And that's all you've got to write down. So it's for x, this interval is smaller or equal to negative 1, 5. Or, I'm going to write it in interval notation now for you, or between negative 1 and 3. For x between negative 1 and 3. But now the thing is, why do I include? Because it is included here. And there, I've got it, I can write this as x is an element of negative infinity up to negative 1, 5 included, or between negative 1 and 3 both included. And there's my answers. Is it necessary to run away from these questions? If you analyze it properly, no. If you're just going to stare at it, then yes, please run away. Okay, now, Bongani, I'm going to pick on you a little bit more. Okay. When is something divided by something else positive? Negative over a? Or a? But that's exactly the same. Oh. What magic is this, sir? The only difference is what? What's the only difference? The zero value here. So the only difference is g of x may not be. So the only difference is that. Because that is where g of x is 0. On my graph, if I look at this, on my graph, it is that point there where gx crosses my x-axis. So all the rest remains exactly the same. So this is some magic. Can I divide? Can I times? It stays the same. Yes, because whether I times to get a positive or whether I divide to get a positive, the answer is the same. So is it more manageable at this moment? Exactly. Now, ladies and gents, please, 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 don't go and do this by force. In other words, don't go and throw in equations and try and solve it algebraically. Not that it is impossible, but you are going to make your life extremely difficult. Now let's quickly have a look at D. I'm going to laugh because I caught all of you out a little bit. Okay, I'm laughing because I caught all of you out. Now you guys are going, no sir, not me. I knew exactly what I was doing. If I look at g of x equal 4x negative 4, or was it, yeah, negative 4x minus 6, how do I determine the inverse of that? Swap the x and the y. Okay? So in other words, x equal to? Okay, fantastic. Let's go over to question E. But sir, you didn't get y alone. Guys, I never told you to get y alone. I never said write it in the form y equals wada. If I don't say that, then that's my final answer. I told you I caught all of you out. Ladies and gents, be careful, read your questions properly. Okay. If I had to get y alone, then I go x plus 6 is equal to negative 4y, and I divide by negative 4, so it's negative, relax, sir, relax. Okay, I do this, I write each of them over 4, so I'm going to go negative 6 over 4 equal to y, which I could simplify. Why do I do that? Why don't I write the whole big thing over negative 4? Because now I can analyze that that is a straight line with a negative gradient that has a y-intercept of negative 3 over 2. It's just for my own analysis. In the exam, both would be marked right. Putting it out there. Now let's look quickly at E. Again, ladies and gents, a lot of you guys want to find or want to determine the equation of f to the negative 1. You don't have to, because I only ask you for a sketch of the inverse. So in other words, all I'm going to do, swap all the x's and y's around. So my x-intercepts are going to become my y-intercepts. My y-intercept is going to become my x-intercepts. So it goes through negative 1 and 3. My y-intercept is at negative 3. So this is then going to become my x-intercept. Turning point is at 1, negative 4. So it's at negative 4, 1. Something roughly like that is my equation. That's my graph.